Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. So I wanted to let you guys know that my co-host is on his way. He had an awesome training session this morning. But let's get into it. This is Fight Junkeez, sponsored by MMA Fight Universe. And I am here today to talk to all of y'all about this weekend's fights at UFC San Antonio Vera versus Sandhagen. I have to be honest. I was a little disappointed. There was a lot of heat going into this fight. There was a lot of things on the line, and I was a little bit disappointed. Great card overall. Congrats to everybody who won, and nothing but respect for everybody who got into the octagon. But man, those judges. I don't know what needs to be done. I don't know if anything can be done, but I'll tell you what, I'm not even a fighter, and I almost passed out because of some of the scorecards, which I don't know. But we're going to get into it. It was an awesome weekend, San Antonio. Sold out crowd, lots of energy. Texas, I used to live in Texas. I lived in Houston. There's a different energy out in Texas, I have to say. Everything is bigger. And they just go hard. They certainly go hard. And when the fights go down, especially when the Black Beast, who was a resident of Houston, fights, I mean, they blow the roof off of that thing, or they'd say they blew the roof off the gaff, like they say over in London. So I'm going to get into it. I was going to start with the first fight, but I got to be honest, Austin, maybe you can attest to this. I want to get right into the main event, and then we'll work our way back down, because I have so much to say about Corey Sandhagen versus Marlon Vera. That division, as we all know, is absolutely stacked. We have a title fight between Henry Cejudo and Aljo coming up, I believe, in May. And we have the number one contender, who seems to be Sugar Sean O'Malley, who just beat Petr Yan in Abu Dhabi. And then Petr Yan's on a 2-fight skid right now. We got Marab, who is a complete savage, but he's friends with Aljo, who's the champ, and he doesn't want to fight him. I don't know. How do you feel about that, Austin? I mean, these guys, they train their whole life, and then, I mean, the belt is right there, and they don't want to fight their buddy.
They don't want to fight, yeah, because it's the belt is on the line.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I have a lot of friends that I love and I care about, but if some of my buddies are listening to this, I also have children. So I'd elbow you in the face, no problem, to get that belt. There he is, right off MMA's finest, UFC flyweight, the Jamaican sensation. He had an awesome training session this morning, so he was a little behind, but that's why he gets paid the big bucks, because if he doesn't train at 5 a.m., he might get kicked in the neck. But he's here today. What's up, bub?
Not much, man. Not much. You just started or what?
Yeah, we're just getting started, just kind of saying what's up to everybody. And I was just breaking down some of the judges' stuff. And then before I went into the Albert Doraya versus Chidi fight, I wanted to go into the main event. But how are you?
I'm good, man. I am good. Oh, my goodness. The card this weekend was nuts. I think this was the first time where I was like, man, the prelim is like almost better than the main card. The prelim was so good. Oh, my goodness. I thought it was like a banger. And I think, for me, because I'm a flyweight, there were so many flyweight fights on the prelim, so it made it more entertaining to watch.
Do you watch those in detail, because you might have to go to war with some of these?
Not too much in details, or putting too much on it, but I do watch them.
Yeah.
I try to watch them, to get more like, okay, who's this guy coming up? What's he like? You know what I'm saying? I saw there was a lot of newer flyweights too.
There's so many.
Yeah, I love
flyweight stacked. It's always stacked. I did hear a narrative that for fight nights, and maybe you can speak on this more, that they do like the main event to be a flyweight or a bantamweight. And I personally think it's because it's the main event and they don't want like a heavyweight to just knock somebody out right away.
Yeah.
More likely than not, there's not going to be a ton of knockouts at the lower weight classes. Obviously, you have, an awesome knockout. What do you think about the bantamweight division right now? I wanted to start with the Corey Sandhagen fight. And we were talking about the gauntlet of fighters. How do you look at that?
In terms of them wanting flyweights and bantamweights to be a main event, I think what it is a lot of fans are evolving. You know what I'm saying? You're not getting those fans in the stands that's like screaming armbar every time.
Yeah, slap his chest.
Oh, armbar every time. I'm like, dude, it's a stand-up fight. You know what I mean? It's a grab his titty and twist it. Thank you, Austin.
I mean, I was saying the other one, but the amount of times I've heard that now at MMA fight, like the first ever in-person fight I ever went to that wasn't Contender Series was the John Jones fight.
Yeah.
Which hell of a first fight to go to. I sat up in the bleachers and I felt like I was part of the plebeians, like in Shakespeare, like they have the fun. All the high class people like Ode sit down on the floor.
Yeah.
And it was right. They were like, grab his dick and twist it like every 30 seconds.
Yeah, man. The fans, I feel like they've evolved a lot. And so it used to become, they want to see this slugfest. They just want to see two guys in there slug it out. And you know what I'm saying? Who connects goes down. But now they're like, oh, there's actually like calculations and timing and shots and speed. And they're paying attention to the wrestling now, which they never did before.
Never.
They're paying attention to the grappling now, which they've never done before. And they're paying attention to details in the striking. So I think a lot of this is the fans are evolving and they want to see more out of the fighters. And I think, when it's the heavyweights, they just get in there and they slug.
Yeah, they just knock each other out.
They just try to slug. So I do like that.
That does make sense. And I think Gordon Ryan was saying that about jiu-jitsu. Somebody said, how come there's not so many people watching Brazilian jiu-jitsu? And he said, because a lot of people just don't understand it. And when you think about the UFC, it's a giant, but it's only 30 years old. I mean, baseball, all these other sports have been around for a century, and then it's 30 years. That's nothing. I'm going to be 37.
No, you're right. And it's the same with like even pay. You know what I'm saying? The reason why all these other sports are getting paid so much is because they've been around for so long. These athletes are getting paid way more money because if that company or business has had time to grow its revenue, which the UFC is still growing the revenue and the infrastructure of the organization. So,
Well, that's a good way to look at the audience watching and knowing a little bit about the totality of mixed martial arts instead of just knock them out, because I've had it, man. I've paid that $60 that I didn't have for a fight. And then the main event, I'm all sweating and get anxiety and it's over in 10 seconds. And I'm like, damn.
That was like a Mike Tyson show.
Right? Imagine those.
Mike Tyson shows, man.
Or you're Cheeto and you just go, you have the deer in the headlights look.
Well,
okay, sorry. Before, one last
tell us how you really feel.
I was calling it as soon as I saw Bruce Buffer announcing.
Yeah.
I saw Cheeto. I was like, oh, homeboy looks like he's scared. Like not of Corey, but just
the big lights.
A lot of fucking people here.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I said put him back in the Apex.
So let's do that. Ode,
that's good. I'm gonna touch on that with what Austin just said. Actually, I want to touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, tell us mere civilians how it is to be under the lights and in your underwear fighting for your life, please.
No, it is a real thing, though. I'm not gonna lie, and not just the lights, but a lot of the times you take things into the octagon. You know what I'm saying? Fight fans and everybody else doesn't really understand what it is sometimes to be in there. You're not just going in there a lot of the times and just fighting. Sometimes you have a death in the family or, some kind of drama that just lingers in your head. You know what I'm saying?
Or you just had the flu,
Or that. And if you don't know how to put that stuff behind you, if you let it bother you, it can show up in your fighting. Or I feel like this was the first time that the moment was just a little bit big for Cheeto, and it kind of got to him a little bit. But that's okay though. You know what I'm saying? Because you'd rather that happen to you now. Because Cheeto is still, man, he's still young. He
just turned 30 in December.
Man, he's got so much time. So it's okay that it happened. You know what I'm saying? Because he can now address it. He's a smart guy. He can address those things mentally. He's a tough ass cookie.
Super
tough.
You know
what I'm saying? He can address what he needs to. He'll go back and say, okay, this is what happened. How can I fix this and prevent it from happening again? And he will make those adjustments. I know that because I have made those adjustments. That happened to me in my first fight when I fought Brian Kelleher. You know what I'm saying? The moment was too big for me too fast. You know what I mean? Now I've grown and evolved. I think this will make Cheeto a much better fighter, honestly.
So, question, Ode. and both of you really, can we just agree that Cheeto afterwards handled that very well? He just said, "Hey, that was on me."
Yeah,
because people like Colby would have been like, "Marty, fake newsman, slip me something in my dressing room."
Yeah, but Marlon's come out and said, and we spoke about this last show, like he's not out here for the clout. Mm-hmm. He fights for his family.
No, I love him, man.
He's the man.
He is. He's such a dope guy. He's so dope. I like him a lot, man.
He doesn't care about all that.
No.
He has a daughter with a disability, and I think his first 5 or 6 fights, he was literally fighting to get money to see her smile, because part of the disability is that she has face paralysis. And he doesn't care about all that other stuff.
Dude, man, Cheeto's great. Chris Curtis says that he's like, Cheeto always looks like he's gonna mug you.
He's a mean looking dude, and I looked at some of the pictures of like from 2013 to now.
Evolution,
his evolution. I wouldn't want to see him in a dark alley on a Tuesday. But I do want to get into that fight because there was a lot on the line. Mm-hmm. We got Corey Sandhagen, who going into this, and I said it multiple times that like the totality of a fighter in mixed martial arts, I do feel personally that Corey Sandhagen had more tools in his toolbox. Mm-hmm. But I also thought, and I bet on Vera to win because, I mean, he has that style where he gets better as the fight goes, and he doesn't take a lot of damage, and he had a significantly more power in his strikes than Sandhagen. But I guess, if you can't, it's like looking for a Hail Mary, and if it doesn't come, then you lose. Like, what do you know what I mean? You can't expect to fight some of the best in the world and wait for a knockout, because if you don't get it, you're going to lose a decision like he did, unfortunately.
No, you're right. And, I also have to apologize because here I am talking about how Cheeto was off and stuff like that. And, I'm not giving any credit to Sandhagen because he did a great job. He fought a perfect fight. You know what I mean? He really looked good.
Tremendous.
He looked good. He's very smart and calculated, which I know he was going to be. That's one of the things I said. His fight IQ is amazing. He moves. Something that he did really, really well during the fight that I was very impressed with him. He did the same thing with Frankie Edgar. He moves right, he moves left. He moves right, he moves left, and then he goes forward. He goes side, side, and then forward. Side, side, forward. And he was doing that a lot with Cheeto, and it was hard for Cheeto to kind of settle down on his shots. You know what I mean? It was hard for him to plant and throw because Corey was going side to side so much. You would see where Cheeto would try to do like a push kick, and he wasn't even connecting because Corey was like, you know what I mean?
He wasn't
Snake
there.
charming. Yeah, man. He did a really good job. And hats off to him.
Yeah, he looked good. He's I mean, let's get into the fight itself. I mean, the first round, he pretty much just dominated.
Yeah.
He took him down. He stayed on top.
Yep.
I don't know what Cheeto Vera is made out of. We need to go get a sample of that guy's DNA, because I watched this gentleman get ground and pound for 90% of the first round, and Corey Sandhagen was the one bleeding.
Yep, it's crazy, man. He's so durable. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, he doesn't get hurt.
His durability, he's like the Thing from the what was that, Silver Surfer movie? Fantastic Four.
He just can take.
That man's built from stones, bricks.
He got hit. A ton. And
how good
no
was
damage.
his striking in the last 15 seconds of the fight, though?
So that's what he does. If you look at the Frankie Edgar fight,
Cheeto, I meant not Corey.
I know.
Yeah, I'm talking about Cheeto. If you look at the last few fights, he once again he starts slow. He when he gets taken down, he's not really doing much. And then he waits till the end to get that knockout, but you can't do that in these fights.
And I thought, I still think that 5-round fights are for Cheeto because he's a slow starter. But there was something different in his eyes this time when he was slow. You know what I mean? And
he looked off.
Yes. And I was like, okay, you know what? Cheeto usually loses like the first round anyways, but there was something different in his eyes this time around. And I don't know what it is, but I'm sure, like I said, he'll make the adjustment. And you know what I did like, though? I love Cheeto's coach. He was so honest with him the whole time. He was like, hey, man, like, how are you feeling? You don't look like yourself. Are you okay?
Yeah, Jason Perillo is a beast.
Dude,
I've never heard a coach talk like. It's usually like Leon Edwards. Come on, man, we gotta come back. Yeah. He was like, what's going on? Like he was having like philosophical conversations with them in between rounds
because he knew something was off. Cheeto did not look himself.
He knew that was amazing. I thought that was amazing. You know what I'm saying? Just the level of communication that he has with his coach. The fact that he can talk to you like that. You know what I mean? He's so honest with him. I love that. He was like, "Are you okay?
Are you good, bro?
You look like Cheeto, but I don't know. You're worrying me right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Now, how much? And you know, because you get in that squared circle. How much is the fighter having a bad day versus that they are just frozen because of how good their opponent is? It almost looked like he was kind of, I won't say frozen, but he didn't know where to go because of the movement and because of the well-roundedness of Sandhagen. It seemed like he just, like I don't know, you think he was just having a completely bad day or he just couldn't implement a plan because of his opponent?
I think it was a combination of both, honestly. I think he was having a bad day, but I also think that Corey did a very good job of calculating the distance and the angles and moving, you know what I'm saying? So I think it was a little bit of both.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he looked good. Now, this is a stacked division. We were just talking about Merab being friends with the champ and not wanting to fight the champ. But if you heard the almost kind of cheesy call out at the end, Sandhagen said, I hear you're hungry and I got something for you to eat and it doesn't taste good.
I tweeted that they should revoke his mic privileges after that one.
You know what? The guy can beat the crap out of me.
I did not hear that. I did not hear that.
Yeah. So that was his call out to Merab.
No way.
Yeah.
It was not.
Can you pull it up?
I need to hear this.
Yeah, he said, I hear you're hungry and I got something for you to eat and it does not taste good. But I will give him credit. He told Michael Bisping, I have a very cheesy thing I'm about to say. And he said, it's not too bad. So he still went forward.
It doesn't taste good.
That's going to go viral for a while.
That was like the Aljo one when he was like, I'm coming on you.
No, that was Usman. Usman talking shit to Woodley at the press conference.
No. Aljo did one.
Oh, he did one too?
Yeah, where I forgot what he said. He's like, I'm coming for that ass. I'm coming on that ass. I'm coming on that ass.
Usman was at a press conference when he was going to fight Woodley, and he was like, "I'm coming for that ass. I'm coming all night long." And everybody was like, John Jones was like, "All right, pause, man, slow it down a little bit."
Oh man,
all right, I think this is it.
The internet, man, I love it.
It never loses.
Undefeated. Unanimously.
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
We're going to be clipped out before we know it, too.
He was pouring on the pressure towards the end of the fight. What was going through your mind when he was making that final attack?
Yeah, win the early rounds, and then he was going to come at me. I knew that that's what was going to happen. So I took him down in the early rounds. I moved my ass around in the 3, 4, and 5. That's how you beat Cheeto. Cheeto's a good fighter.
He is a great fighter. You just beat the number 3 ranked guy. Obviously, you're one of the best and most impressive guys in this division. What do you want next? Obviously, we all want to be the champion. How do you see that path? What do you want next?
I would feel so slimy if I asked for a title shot before Merab. Merab is an absolute animal. I respect him a ton. I want that number 1 spot. I got a line. It's a little embarrassing.
Go ahead. Oh, as long as it's not too cringe.
It's not too bad. Merab, you're hungry? Well, I got something for you to eat. And it don't taste good!
There it is. Oh.
It don't taste good.
It don't taste good. That's top 5.
Hey, top 5 for sure, bro. We need to do like a little video of
don't forget Jesus.
Like all the cringe.
All the cringe, yeah. The Cejudo ones. Cejudo's got to be up there too.
I love you. I love you, boy. Yeah, there's some. I mean, who knows what was going through his head?
Or the best one-liner.
The balls was hot.
The balls was hot.
My
best
balls was
one-liners.
hot.
Yo,
we're Ronda Rousey's fine ass.
Yo, we need
My
to do.
balls is hot.
Hey, our next show, we need to clip together some of those and then play it. We gotta do that.
Absolutely, we have to.
Yes,
great.
That would be dope.
So the division right now, we have Cejudo versus the champ.
Yep.
I'm real excited about that because of this just awesome stylistically.
And Henry's another fighter who is super intelligent. But, man, come on. You've been out for a while now.
Yeah, it's a minute.
And Aljo right now is, bro, he's his backpack. King backpack. He gets you.
Aljo's a savage.
Yes.
I think, I could be wrong, I do think they kind of wanted Cheeto in the grand scheme of things to maybe beat Sandhagen, because Sandhagen has a, lost to the champ by rear naked choke, and it's now, and Jan beat Corey. And,
no, you're right.
they kind of wanted some new blood in there, I think.
No, you're right. You're right.
So I don't know. We're going to have to see.
If Sandhagen, does what he needs to do and beats everyone who he neast to beat, then he earns it.
Yeah, he earned it.
He earned it.
He said post-fight that he has to get an elbow surgery, so he'll probably be out until September.
I see the same results. Aljo getting him and backpacking him. Yep.
Yeah, Aljo on your backs. That's it. That's the end of the game.
And what people don't understand is people are like, oh well, why don't you just not give him your back? It's not that you just can't not give him your back. It's that he forces you. It's either you give up your back or you give up something else. You know what I'm saying? It's like a game of chess. He forces you in like bad positions.
Yeah.
If you
Have you thought about not getting punched, Ode?
Yeah. How come? Like I'm eating popcorn on my couch. Telling you what you should be doing in the octagon.
Yo, these fans is ridiculous, man.
I haven't ran in 4 years, but my cardio would be hella better if I was fighting.
Right, these fans ridiculous.
Yeah, so I think that's just an awesome division. I'm excited for O'Malley to come back. I do want to see Aljo, because he's been through so much, fight O'Malley just
that would
because
not
of
happen.
I just mean for the numbers.
I would love it, but it wouldn't happen. Aljo would strangle him.
No, I think he's gonna.
I don't think it would happen. I don't think it's gonna happen. It's the matchup. I don't think.
But isn't he next for the title? Isn't he supposed to fight the winner? O'Malley's supposed to fight the winner of those two.
Let's see it. I hope so. I hope it happens.
Yeah, because I've met Aljo. Aljo's a good guy. I love O'Malley as well, but I think Aljo deserves those pay-per-view points when O'Malley comes in.
Agreed. And I hope it happens.
Yeah, so that's a stacked division. Yeah, your division and bantamweight are just deep.
Ooh, I love it. I love
waters.
that my division's getting fiery too. Ooh, I love it. You seen that CJ Vergara fight? Man,
Please don't remind me. Bro, I lost all of my bets on that fight.
Bro, that fight was cold.
It was crazy though. I will say it was a great fight.
Yo,
that dude ran a 5K in there.
Hey, they got fight of the night and deserved it, man. That dude came in with the thumpers that first round, just piecing CJ up. Then CJ comes back. Bro, CJ is like a zombie, man. You gotta, I don't even know. He's so durable when it comes to not being finished. It's ridiculous. He's so hard to finish. I would know. I fought him and I hit him with everything. I couldn't finish him. I was like, this guy.
That's got to be frustrating as hell,
dude.
I mean, I've been overseas where I've seen a lot of lead thrown. And the guys are still shooting back, and you're like, where's this coming from right now?
Yeah, man. That was an impressive performance. Impressive. Like, he deserved $100K for that fight.
100, yeah.
And you heard the fans, too? Yo, he always brings a crowd. He's one of the fan favorites, obviously.
It's a hometown fight for him, right?
That's true. That's true, man. He brought a crowd.
Oh, he's from San Antonio?
Yeah, he brought a crowd. Like, the crowd was going nuts for CJ. Nuts, bro.
There was a lot.
Prelim. It was a prelim fight.
Prelims were fired.
He packed the stadium on a prelim fight.
Yeah, imagine what his party was like.
Those first two prelims were definitely fight of the night contender, which was one of them was the CJ, and then the other one was the where they were just swinging it.
Swinging, yep. Man, the prelims I thought were better than the main card. You know what I mean? Like, no disrespect to Holly Holm and Santos, but that fight was a boring fight.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that here in a minute because. Yeah, the prelims were rocking.
But I will say, not taking anything away from Holly, she did what she needed to do.
Yeah, so let's get into the Holly Holm Yana Santos fight. They were both, I believe, 14-6-0. I think Yana's almost 10 years younger than Holly Holm, and Holly Holm's 41 years old, and she just signed a 6-fight deal. So she came into this as a former bantamweight champ. She got the belt when she head kick KO'd
Ronda,
and I think they were in New Zealand, right?
Yeah, she shook the world.
And then she got head kick KO'd and lost her belt to Nunes, which was crazy. And then she's kind of been, I don't know, laying under the radar, not fighting as much. I think she was, having things go on in her personal life, which everybody does. but not everybody goes through personal things and then has to fight in front of 20,000 people. So what did you think of that fight? Because it went completely different than I thought it was going to go.
Oh, man. I don't even look like Austin. What you trying to say, Austin?
You know what I said.
Austin believes that Holly Holm is a gatekeeper. Meaning,
oh yeah,
she
see that
she's there in place. She's the test for the newer fighters.
Yeah, if you can't beat Holly Holm, Bellator's
Wow.
your next stop.
You think she's been damn?
I think she's starting to become like the women's Clay Guida. Like like don't take obviously as we saw, don't take her for granted because she'll still jack you up. But
the women's Nate Diaz.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know. I feel like Clay Guida was a gatekeeper way longer. Like he was always like. I don't even know if he was ranked in the last.
He's a savage.
5-6 years.
He's from Jersey too.
No, he's a great fighter.
Clay and Nate, both.
But like
savages.
15 years ago, he was like great. Now he's just he can still beat the dog shit out of anybody.
Hard fight.
Yeah, because he wrestled. I mean, you too. Not a lot of people know, but O'Day, the Jamaican sensation, also.
I'm just kidding.
No, he's only a striker
in college. You know what I think is funny if you look at it? All of the wrestlers that grew up in wrestling that are wrestler heavy have now turned to stand up. And they want to stand and bang. And all of the fighters like Holly Holm, who was a 18-time boxing champ, is now wrestling.
Hey, that's what happens, especially when you have two high-level kickboxers in there. They just start grappling. If you got two grapplers in there, they start striking.
Start fighting.
I'm tired of shooting singles. Let's just bang.
I didn't. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, O'Day.
Okay. Anyways.
Hello? Yeah, okay. You're right. I didn't think about it that way. You got two high-level strikers.
Does it not smell good?
This guy said Bellator over here.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, they're going to cancel each other out, right? So
typically, yeah, because sometimes it just be like that, man. If you get, especially when you have two grapplers that it's just such back and forth. They're like, all right, we can't take each other down.
Yeah,
let's strike.
You also don't want to get punched in the face if you don't need to. We forget, like, these are 4-ounce gloves, and if you don't need to get hit that many times, I mean, 41 years old plus the boxing career, Holly Holm should play it a little safe when it comes to TBI and certain things like that are just a reality of the fight game.
Yeah, and like I said, in that case, it was the opposite. It wasn't two guys that said, well, we can't take each other down. Let's, strike. It was the opposite. Two strikers that was like, well, you know what? Our striking is going to be neutralized. I'm going to neutralize her striking by holding her up against a cage and beating her up there, maybe getting, some elbows off. And I feel like they both thought that way about the other person. And because they both had the same exact strategy, it just kind of canceled each other out. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, okay, so now what? So then Holly Holm, it took her a little bit, but she realized, oh, this girl's ground game is not that good.
Yeah.
So what am I going to do? I'm going to take her down, control her, try to look for a submission, which she did try, and beat her up there, and she got the win that way. But I do feel that both of those girls have some work to do. You know what I mean? I know Holly
on the ground.
Both. I know Holly says that she wants to chase the title. She wants to go for the belt. And I think, you know what I'm saying? I think they both have some work to do, which we all have work to do. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I mean, I just really thought that Holly Holm was stronger. When you saw them clinch, and I think that was like the deciding factor, one way or the other, was just, it ended up being strength. It looked like she overpowered her.
It wasn't necessarily strength. It was just I don't think Holly Holm knew enough about that position. She just hasn't. And you know what I mean? If she ever watches this, she'd be like, I do. But she hasn't been in that position long enough. She just needs more time in the grappling department. You know what I mean? I grew up a wrestler, so...
Yeah, so you know what you're looking at.
Yes, I know what I'm looking at. So she needs more time in that department. She needs to be in the gym more, doing more wrestling, doing more grappling, doing more wrestling, doing more grappling. And who knows? She might have done a whole camp. You know what I'm saying? But... she needs to do more camps, like more out of camp, in camp.
Do you think that sometimes strikers focus on wrestling so much that their striking falls off?
And vice versa. I think it goes both ways. I think strikers focus so much on striking so much that their wrestling falls off, and I think that wrestlers focus so much on their wrestling so much that they don't know how to strike. You have to be able to know how to do both.
Yeah.
You
unless you're Khabib and you just maul everybody on the ground.
Yeah, that's true.
But overall, it was a good fight.
Yeah,
I don't really know where they go from here.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I would love to see Holly, because I do love how nice Holly Holm is. She's a sweetheart, man. I would love to see her, like evolve and maybe one day fight for the belt. That would be good, man. I want to see,
She has to have that in her at this age.
Yeah.
She wouldn't have signed a deal like that. She could do other things. She could probably do like, I'd like to see her versus Jake Paul in a boxing match. That would be
Holly Holm,
pretty good.
round 1 unanimous decision knockout.
Yeah.
Every possible outcome, just give it to Holly.
I mean, think of Holly. She's fought everybody from Chris Cyborg to Amanda Nunes to Ronda Rousey to Miesha Tate.
CM Punk.
And she dominated Miesha Tate until the 5th round when she got choked out.
Yeah, man. We just had Miesha talk about that my last podcast, where she talked about that moment, that feeling, and what that was like, because Miesha has been chasing that moment for so long, and then it happened, and she was just like, yeah.
So we're on that division. You just had, the legend of Miesha Tate on your show. Did she have any, she's also going for gold, I assume, too? And
Miesha actually revealed on my show that this is her last year.
Really?
Mm-hmm. This is her last year. Sadly, because I've been watching her. I think I was a senior when she had her first. I don't even remember. But I remember watching her when I was a senior in high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you were just a fan then, right? Nothing more?
Yeah. I was just a fan. Nothing more, Miesha, if you ever watch.
Yeah, she's been around for a minute. All the way back to the Ultimate Fighter with Ronda Rousey. That's cool.
Yeah, man. She was always one of my favorite.
I'd like to
fighters.
see her and Holly Holm run it back, because it looks like they're on the same trajectory with wins and losses right now.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, man.
Holly Holm is what, 3? She's won 3 out of the 4 of her last fights.
Yes, she Miesha, I think, I don't remember if she won or lost her last fight, but that'd be a good rematch, man. Like I said, I'm obviously a huge Miesha fan, so I'm biased to that one.
Yeah.
So my input is gonna be,
I want to kind of turn the page for a second and just take your MMA, UFC knowledge for a second for the fans who don't completely understand the judging on the scorecards. Can you, for just a minute, break down what like a 29-28, 29-28, 30, what does that mean? Yeah, break that down for the ones who don't actually know. Like, they see the hand raised, but they don't know what the hell it means.
I'm glad you mentioned that. So there are 3-round fights. You get 10 points if you have if all 3 judges give the points to you, then you get 10 points, right? The most you can get in a round is 10 points. The less you can get, the least amount you can get is 8. So if it's a 10-8 round, that fighter completely dominated you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, completely, meaning like just obliterated you.
Beat the hell out of you.
Yeah. Like the CJ Vergara fight, that first round was probably a 10-8 round.
I thought so.
Yeah, that was a 10-8 round. He got the living dog shit beat out of him. But he came back and won. But anyways, so
it's 10 points per round, and then they add up at the end.
So it's 10 or 9 or 8. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So that's why they add them up. So each round, if you get like 10, 10, 10, then it's 30. And the other guy, if he gets like 10, 10, 9, it's 30, 29. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So Holly what was the score for that one? 30, 26. Meaning all 3 judges gave her unanimously all the rounds.
Okay.
So
if they know that they won the round dominantly, they're going to get a 10.
Yes.
They don't do 9-8.
They do. They do
9-8.
They'll do like a 9 or an 8 if they, you know what I'm saying? In terms of points. You know what I'm saying? So they add up all the points, and that's how they do it. It's a weird system because I believe it comes from boxing. And I do think that they need to revamp the system for UFC, and they need to create a whole new structure, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, one of the judges on the main event gave it to Marlon Vera when it was a split decision. That was
crazy.
Look, and nothing against Marlon Vera. I'm a big fan of him. I like how he carries himself. He's a family man. I'm also a father. I love my girls. But he lost.
Yeah.
Decisively.
Even he knew.
It could have been 5-0, right?
It was very decisive. At most, I'll say he won 2 rounds. I'll say
Okay, I
won
could
2
see,
rounds.
yeah.
Maybe the last round and the fourth, maybe 4
I think
and
it was
5.
third or fourth.
Third or one of those two. Yeah, in the last.
I want to say it was the third. He actually started piecing up Corey a little bit.
third, maybe I'll say like 3rd and 5 or 3 and 5, or either 3 and 4. I don't remember, but you know what I mean. Split decision? I don't think so. No way.
Can we just appreciate Dan Murgliata reffing and
judging.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, when I saw his name, I was kind of
I think
like,
he was on the Holly Holm fight, right?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "Dang, he messed up the co and main event."
Shout out to Dan Murgliata, man.
yeah, he's doing. I was like, am I reading this wrong? Is there a typo? Because this guy was just in the octagon and now he's reffing the fight. But I guess that's a good person to have, right? Because they know what to look for.
Exactly. And those are the people who should be judges, man. Those are the people who we need as judges.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. All right. So, hey, where's that bell at today? We haven't heard the bell at all. Can you pull that bell up? And everybody that's tuned in to the breakdown, I really appreciate you guys. Fight Junkeez, sponsored by MMA Fight Universe, will be live every Monday and Thursday, where we break down the fights from the weekend, and then we will also be talking about the fights that are coming up. So we appreciate everybody. I see you guys in the chat. Heroes Journey podcast. What is up?
Oh man,
He says give Holm a shot versus Jake Paul. Yeah, I want to see Jake Paul versus Holly Holm.
Hey, definitely, man. Let's run it. Let's run it, Jake.
Shout out to the problem solver. One of my, East Coast people back there. He said, what problem would he be able to solve for the UFC? The judging.
What problem would the judging be able to solve?
No, he said because he's the problem solver.
He's the problem solver.
Oh,
he said, what could he solve for the UFC? And I said, the judging.
Who? Jake Paul?
No, the problem solver.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, he said, I got a problem. Here's a good question.
I was all over the place. My bad.
Has anyone made an NFT for the Jamaican sensation?
No and no.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have watched the news right now. What's going on with NFTs?
Yeah,
and
man.
Wait,
crypto.
I thought you were saying no one has ever made an NFT and no one has ever made one of me. Like you're just discrediting NFT.
No, I'm saying no one's ever made an NFT, and I don't want one right now.
Yeah.
Mainly just because.
It's too new. Let it go for a while.
Yeah, and not just that, but I want to build my brand. I want to build who Ode Osborne is. You know what I'm saying? You see a lot of these people who just create NFTs and try to sell them. Like, how are you going to sell an NFT when you haven't built that into that space, you know?
Yeah.
People in the NFT space are going to be like, who the fuck is that guy? Like, who's selling an NFT? You know what I'm saying? If you haven't built up your image or your brand within the NFT crypto space, people aren't going to really buy it or know who you are, you know? So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm huge into that crypto space, if you haven't wondered. But yeah, man, I love crypto. It's probably one of my hobbies right now. Actually, it's been my hobby for like a good 5 years, actually.
So you're buying lunch? Is that what you're saying?
Hey, I'm saying...
I think it's great. It's where the future's going. I can't tell you the last time that I used cash to buy something.
Right.
I'm using, my I don't even use my debit card half the time. It's just Apple Pay.
It's Bitcoin. Did you buy pizzas with it?
Yeah.
No, he finances the pizza and then pays it off with Bitcoin so it improves his credit.
Simon Cowell, Sticky Paws said that Simon Cowell would be a dope judge.
Hey, right? He'd be like, that was absolutely horrendous.
You both suck.
Terrible. Complete rubbish. That fight was rubbish. It was boring.
You're deluded.
You held his nuts in his face for 24 minutes.
He would have said something like, Corey, that was so awful what you just said. I'm giving it to Cheeto now, actually.
Yeah, I can't believe you said it tastes bad. You should say it tastes good, but what do you mean it tastes bad? Yeah, we need Simon, man. Somebody like send this to Simon.
Yeah, he'd probably do it too.
For real.
We'll get him. We'll hit up Dana and we'll try to get him over to the Apex.
Hey, what if Simon Cowell was an announcer? It's time.
You're giving him too much energy. He'd be like, it's time.
I don't think he can yell anymore with all that injections in his face. It's kind of stiff. All right, so let's jump into the next fight.
Nate Landbeer and Austin Lingo, which, whoo.
That was a scrappy fight.
Yo, y'all better, when you,
Tell us how you feel.
okay, so he got choked out due to the fact that he went and reached for his mouthpiece which I thought was crazy. I'm like,
should they stop they usually stop the fight, right? If the mouthpiece is out?
Man, forget your mouthpiece, bro. You're in a fight.
Yeah.
Your mouthpiece comes out. Forget that.
I've
Forget your
never
mouthpiece.
worn a mouthpiece in a fight.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
It sucks. It inhibits your breathing. I had to wear them for wrestling because I had braces.
Well, it's different now. Now they have them molded, so it doesn't. It's not.
Oh yeah. See, mine was because I had braces. Like you didn't have to wear it in high school, but they're like, you got 2 nights in there.
Yeah.
It sounded like a pug while trying to shoot a double on somebody.
Bruh, I remember those, man. But now they have them molded where they mold to your teeth, so they're not that bad. But my thing is, man, your mouthpiece falls out. I get it. You're in a fight, and you know what I mean. Sometimes you can't control your reflex, how you think the ref is gonna stop it and put it. You think you can get it, but you don't have. There's a very small window at times, and if you don't close the window fast enough, someone's gonna sneak in through it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And
you said that last week when you were like talking about Usman.
Yes,
when he kept like expecting the judge, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you were. So you're consistent with that pissing you off.
I am, man. Like, come on, you're in there to fight. Just fight. You know what I'm saying? It's a fight. Just fight.
I think that's the difference between the mindset of a fighter and an athlete, maybe.
Yeah, because then it becomes too much. Like I said last week, like basketball. You know what I mean? You start expecting things from the ref. Then it's a basketball game. Nothing against basketball games. You know what I mean? But a lot of the basketball players do draw calls by flopping a lot.
Yeah, they're great actors.
Not just basketball, but you see it in soccer too.
Oh God.
It's a strategy they use to draw calls. Sometimes it works. You know what I mean?
Now you see it with Usman.
And it didn't work.
Exactly. So that's my thing with that, man. I just don't want us to start going that route. You know what I mean?
It almost happened in the main event. I think Cheeto was kicking Sandhagen while he was down in the face. They were both like his knee was down and he was ground and pounding.
Oh yeah.
And he was still kicking.
Yeah,
him.
You got a
great move, by the way.
I mean, I'd do it.
Illegal as shit.
But Nate Landwehr, I watched a lot of the footage on this guy. He's just hilarious. He's from Tennessee. I had a soldier about 10 or 12 years ago when I was a squad leader at Fort Polk, and I was completely out of my element at Fort Polk because I'm from New Jersey.
Yeah.
So I didn't know about humidity or animals or snakes or nothing. And Tennessee people are just built different from city boys. And this guy's one of them. I mean, Landwehr in German translated is defend the land.
Really?
So his name in German is defend the land. So he said like... Landwehr. Ja, ausgezeichnet wird der Scheiße jetzt.
It doesn't taste good.
And he's, all right. So no shade on Landwehr. I don't see him, at least not anytime soon, like being a number one contender or taking the belt just based off his skill set. But he does remind me of like another kind of gatekeeper because he's down to scrap and fight. And he did really good. He
is always down to. He's like almost like a Duplessis style where he just like
let's get
it, kind of come and just
bite that mouthpiece.
Yeah,
and
man.
Go.
Yeah, so he's always gonna be an exciting fighter for me. You know what I'm saying? To watch. But in terms of title contender right now, I just don't see it right now. I'm not saying he won't become a title contender. I just don't see it right now.
He's great talker. Nate the Train, his interviews, especially he did one with Ariel Helwani. Excuse me, and he cut a promo at the end because he won by rear naked choke, but he said that's called the sucker punch rear naked choke. So he invented his own move.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about, man.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. You gotta be like just on it when you're on the mic. You can't be saying stuff like it doesn't taste good.
It doesn't matter. I'll let them give me whoever they want. No, call somebody out. Talk.
Corey Sandhagen that's gonna be number one trash talk line of the year is Corey Sandhagen.
It doesn't taste good.
It doesn't taste good. What do you say? I got something and
you're hungry.
I got something to eat and it doesn't taste good.
It doesn't taste good.
If you guys are just tuning in, so Corey Sandhagen called out Marab, and on the mic he said, I heard you're hungry and I've got something for you to eat and it doesn't taste good.
You got action junkies in there.
Oh, man.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch? Ja, natürlich spreche perfekt Deutsch. Jeden Tag. So it was a great fight. Austin Lingo, he was a late replacement, I believe.
Yes, he was.
So Austin lights out Lingo. He's 9-3-0 right now. He's 28 years old. He's still young. He's from Texas. He fights out of Dallas. And Lingo looked good. He won most of the big exchanges in round 1. He looked really good on his feet, but I think Landwehr is just too much pressure and too aggressive.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, and that could get because I think cardio's big.
Yeah,
right?
Not only that, but I think he just needs more experience in the cage with someone like that. And how you get that is you have to train with bodies. Whoever you got to bring into the gym to emulate that style, that's what you need to do to prepare for your fight. You know what I'm saying? So you get that look all the time. So now when you're free, when you're in front of it, facing it, it's not anything you haven't seen before.
Yeah, it's not foreign.
Yeah, so I think that's what happened. I think he just hasn't had that look enough, or he hasn't had enough experience in the octagon with that type of fighter. You know what I'm saying?
And the crowd.
Exactly. But now he had that, he had that experience, so he can go back next time and be like, okay, you know what?
Yeah,
if I ever fight this style again, I'll know how to handle it the next time.
Yeah, because I think a wrestler would have dominated either one of those gentlemen, like a traditional wrestler with some good jiu-jitsu. But he tweeted post-fight, things didn't go my way last night, but I'll be back stronger and faster than ever. So he's in high spirits. But that was a good scrap. You know what I did notice, and this, I don't know if this, I'm sure this bothers you.
What's that?
When you fight Nate Landwehr, he fought the whole time with his hands open.
Yeah.
And then he would come in and then close them, kind of like a John Jones. I just was like, damn, he's going to poke him in the eye.
Nah, it don't bother me. It doesn't bother me. I think.
What is he doing? He's doing that to gauge distance and try to grab you?
No, not necessarily. He's just relaxed. He's got to relax, which is fine. You know what I mean? You're a lot of people when you squeeze your hands, then your muscles, you're tense. So if you want to save your arms and you save a lot of the muscle tissue and stuff like that, and when you relax a lot a bit.
Yeah.
You got to be relaxed when you're in there.
Makes sense.
You can't be tense. You know what I'm saying? So I'm fine with that. I actually do that a lot myself. I kind of fight more like here. I don't really close my fist when I fight.
Once that lactic acid builds up in your muscles, you're going to be in trouble.
Exactly.
Because you're still in there, right?
Yeah. And you want to be as relaxed as possible in order to strike. When you strike and you're tense, you're telegraphing everything.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. Get kicked in the face. So hats off to both of those gentlemen. It was a great night for them. Being the third from the main event on a huge card. Congrats.
I think that card was spectacular. Like I said before, I still think the prelims was amazing and it was better than the main card.
I don't know where they go though in the featherweight division, but I'm excited to see Holloway come back. It's coming.
Hey, let's get it, man.
So let's get into the next and final fight. We're gonna break down. Great fight, Macy Barber versus Andre Ali.
Yes.
How do you feel about that fight?
I feel that Macy Barber lost that fight. That's how I feel about that fight. I'm
okay.
Sorry.
Tell us how you feel, buddy.
I'm sorry to say that, but I do. I feel
by this.
Yeah, split. I would say split Macy. Split Andrea. Because she did everything that she needed to do. She took her down. Macy did get one takedown, but didn't do anything with it. You know what I mean? I think she controlled her for what? I don't even remember the control time. I think it was over 3 minutes of control time.
Yeah, the first round, right?
That
she had her down.
Yeah, that she had in Macy's. She was in Macy's wheelhouse. You know what I'm saying? And Macy wasn't doing anything with the striking.
She tried a lot more kicks this fight.
Yes, but none of those kicks were really doing much damage. You know what I'm saying? So I can't say that I would give Macy that fight. I just can't.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that it was going to go the other way, but I wasn't surprised. It was by no means a robbery in my mind, but
no, I wouldn't say a robbery. I hate when people yell robbery, robbery.
Yeah,
I definitely wouldn't say it was a robbery. But I would say that Macy lost that fight.
Yeah, she.
But that's just my opinion.
I think they kind of canceled each other out. Like they were almost at the same, which is a test to the matchmaking at the UFC. They're not going to put somebody in there that's just going to get completely dominated. So they were a great matchup, and that could be another reason why it didn't look like a spectacular fight, because they couldn't do anything, because it was like fighting yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even that it was like it wasn't spectacular. It was just I don't see how Macy beat her. You know what I'm saying? I could see how Andrea beat Macy, but I can't see how Macy beat Andrea. You know what I'm saying? I could say, okay, Andrea Lee took her down. You know what I'm saying? Multiple times, held her down, was punching her while she was on top. She was punching Macy while she was on her feet. Getting those points that way. I would say she won that first, second, or it was like, I would say, was it first or third or first and second? It was one of the rounds Macy got a takedown. And
I think it was the second.
Was the second round that Macy got a takedown? And that was the only round that I'd be like, okay, maybe Macy got that round.
Even the crowd felt the same way. They, Andrea Lee is from Texas, I believe. Yeah. I think Dallas. There's a lot of Dallas fighters on the card. I'm sure they do that purposely.
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course.
But I don't know where they go from here. Macy is now 4-0, and the only person she's lost to her last loss is the champ now. And she said in her post-fight presser, I don't think that I deserve to fight for the belt now, but I want to fight Alexa Grasso, whether she has the belt or not.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, she lost the fight, so I guess she wants it back, which I agree with.
Yeah, I also don't agree with what she said about, and obviously I'm a little biased because Roxanne was a teammate of mine, but I don't agree with this when she said, I only have one true loss on my record, and that was to Alexa Grasso.
She did say that.
And I thought that was very discrediting of Roxanne, because Roxanne was beating her all the way up until she got that injury in her fight. Roxanne beat the dog shit out of her for all of that fight until she got that injury.
Yeah, she was saying that she tore her ACL, and then that's the only reason.
That was, for me, was like, you can't discredit Roxanne for what she did. You know what I mean? Don't do that. It's kind of like what Sean O'Malley does, where he talks about, he didn't lose to
Cheeto. Yeah.
He didn't lose. He's the GOAT.
He's undefeated.
I'm like, don't discredit Cheeto. I'll never, ever discredit anybody that I lose to, ever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got to take it on the chin. You got to... That's a testament to Dominic Cruz. Dominic Cruz was tremendous in all of his losses. When he lost the belt to Cody, he came right out like, what am I going to do? Go cry about it? Like, this is the fight game. I freaking lost.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, he got emoted on, okay? Cody did emotes that whole fight, okay?
Did.
Yeah. It wasn't even a competition.
Yeah, it was stylistically an entertaining fight.
So we got one quick fight. We're running out of time. Albert Duraev versus Chidi. In the 185-pound division.
Let's go.
It kind of went. There's a beautiful man named John Orlando who once said, if they look like Khabib, they're going to win. And I completely agree. So that's kind of how it went.
Yeah, man. Chidi, I thought, should have let his hands go a little bit more, but he also didn't want to do too much on the strike game, because then he would give up a takedown, because that's what happened. He hit him with a body kick. He caught his kick and he took him down. So I would say a little more hands, little less kicks, and he made those adjustments. He just didn't do enough of it. And I think that's where he lost in that, those exchanges. But man, he looked good on the feet, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a great striker.
Yeah, a phenomenal striker.
Muay Thai kickboxer.
Yes, Duraev is just phenomenal, man. He's a great fighter. Really good fighter, man, and did a good job. Both men, they were both tired in there, and they both went in there and, look to fight.
Yeah.
So
a lot of pressure on Chidi as well. He's another Texas native, and he said a lot of his friends and everybody that he loves was in the crowd. So that's got to be a lot of pressure to get in there.
Yeah, man. Chidi's what? Is he 2-2 now? Yeah, because he's had 4 fights in the UFC. I'm pretty sure he won 2, lost 2. Yes. So, man, he's so talented too. Chidi's, oh man, his striking is so good. So I would love to see him in there with another striker. I want to see
him and Kevin Holland.
Yes, him and Kevin Holland would be a great fight. Is that the same weight class?
Yeah.
Oh man, let's put it together, man.
Yeah, that would be a scrap.
That would be.
I think, and knowing how down
But
Holland is, he would do it too.
Yeah, but the fact that Chidi only has 4 fights in the UFC, though, I don't know if that they would give him that fight.
Probably not.
You know, but
he has like 300 more Thai fights. So.
Exactly. He is 22-9, so he can get more, opportunities because he's had so many fights.
Yeah. Well, I mean, overall, it was a good card. We're running out of time, but again, I appreciate everybody coming on to the live chat and giving us support. We said last week, this is our 3rd show. Give us some time. Stay tuned. I'm going to be interviewing some coaches and some fighters, doing some one-on-ones in the very near future. Show us love and support. Like, share, subscribe. And thank you, guys. You have anything to send us off with?
Hey, nothing, man. I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in to the show, Fight Junkeez. Check us out. Also, shout out to MMA Fight Universe, our sponsor. Hey, this show is going to be incredible. This is our 2nd week up and running. We're doing these live now. We're going to include super chats. You guys, we're going to be just blowing. So I love you guys and appreciate all you guys for tuning in. My name is Ode Osborne, the Jamaican sensation, UFC flyweight. I'm the fighter.
And I'm the fan and former U.S. Army combat vet. So all my vets, show us some support. Show me some love. Thank you guys very much. Have a great week.
Out.